Rolling.
Rolling. Alright, so we're trying to paint the deciduous trees that are in Marty's foreground in this prototype picture he gave me. So mixing yellow, white, and spice brown with this old beat up brush to just try to get some middle ground texture. It's not the background out there, but it's got to be a little bit bigger to get a little more texture. Than in the foreground here we'll have actual tree trunks painted. This is kind of a middle ground, so we're using bigger texture.
Now, are you using, what kind of paint are you using for this? Artist acrylics?
It's ceramic coat acrylics for the most part.
So these are craft store paints?
Yeah, craft store paints, spice brown, dark forest green, white, and this yellow color is Woodland Scenics Ochre.
Oh, is that the color you have right there on that?
That yellow color is this Woodland Scenics Ochre, which is over here. It's a good color, actually. It's a good color for scenery, especially winter scenery. I like using it. Let's put a little green in there to give some shadows. Notice I'm not using black because most artists recommend that you don't use any black in a painting unless you really want to show a shadow. So I'm using just greens to create the darker shadows. Again, these are middle distance, so the shadows won't be that pronounced.
Now, is this all basically treed hills in the distance, so there's no farms and things like that in this particular scene?
Right, what you could do now over here, this is again some nice middle ground texture. We start to see actual trunks there. See those?
Right.
And then there's another little bald hill in the foreground. So all those will add depth.
And of course, the main element of the picture in the background is Camel's Hump, which is the mountain, the snow-covered peak in the background there.
Right, which is what you wanted.
Which is now a snow-covered peak on my.
Yeah, I like a little bit of snow up there. It's dirty. Once that dries, I'll go back and touch it up with some pure white. That's sort of the dirty snow. But this time of year, the snow would be white. It wouldn't be dirty yet.
This was a slight.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, just a pencil-in line indicating.
A little bit of cloudage. What's cool over here? See this over here is how the cloud is actually going behind the mountain. So that gives you the feeling, hey, that's adding depth right there by having the mountain hiding the cloud.
Right.
But we didn't want to bring clouds up here because we don't want people looking up here. We want people to look down here.
At the trains.
But we want the scenery and the background to blend. You like that?
Blend. There you go. All right. Okay, well, we're going to cut this and we'll be back with a report in a little while.
Old house painting brush to put in the branch detail for these mid-ground trees. Just taking a little bit of gray, brown, yellow. Just lots of little detail. It's not supposed to be leaves. It's supposed to just be the distant branches, so. Gotta be careful because I don't want it to look like leaves. And then it's a little wet, the paint underneath is a little wet, so it's blending nice. Blending very nice. The dark colors are supposed to be shadow areas.
What's the light color you're using?
It's a combination of, look at the palette now, it's all smooshed together. It used to be brown, green, ochre, and white, but now that I've blended it so much, it's just one sort of medium gray.
It's just a hot mess.
And then you can do this, you can just put another dot of yellow or white, a dot of this spice brown. Notice you really can't paint backdrops with craft paints, it just doesn't work.
Seem to be having a decent amount of success with it here.
Yeah, it works pretty good. I'm just kidding. I'm giving Crystalline a hard time. All right, where's my yellow ochre? My famous Woodland Scenics, almost empty. That's a good color for Marty. Marty picked the yellow in his terrain, so this yellow ochre is blending with his terrain color. Now, you can go down there and show where I painted some trunk detail, because that's right in your face. But this is going to have buildings and things in front of it, so I don't think we're going to need trunk detail here.
Yeah,
Try to avoid repeating patterns. See how the brush sometimes wants to repeat the pattern? So you like do it that way, then you do it that way, then you do it that way, and then you go in and blend them. This is a little too unvaried.
That's good there.
And then this here is supposed to be a row of evergreens, and then another row of deciduous, and then the distant mountains. We didn't want anything fancy here because we don't want people looking over here. We want people to ignore this area. So this is going to be very plain.
Well, we want them to ignore it because that's where the backdrop actually physically ends.
Yeah, you can see it. So
Basement.
I would say we're almost done here. I don't think we need to do any more detail here until Marty gets his trees up and stuff. So that's not bad for one night. We started at what, 7:30?
7:30, and it's about 11 o'clock now.
So 3.5 hours, and it went from here. It's about almost 20 feet, I'd say.
Yeah.
Got 20 feet of backdrop done.
We'll pan around and show everybody what we did, or what Bernie painted anyway. I was doing road bed on the other side of the basement, which is not anywhere near as interesting. That looks great. Well worth the drive out here tonight in Washington, D.C. traffic on
Traffic
Friday
wasn't that
night.
bad tonight, just I got a late start because Alicia made good dinner.
At the trains.
But we want the scenery in the background.